Hey guys, today is going to be awesome. No, it's not new e-bike day, but nearly as good. It's e-bike review day. And this is a bike I've been wanting to ride for some time now. What is it? Well, it's the Pivot Shuttle. And it's a fancy one too. It's the Team XTR V3 model. I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time going over it. I'll give you a quick rundown though, because I'm really keen to get out and ride this thing. Carbon frame, 726 watt-hour battery. It's pretty light, I believe. Comes in about 21 kilos, despite the big battery and the set of Fox 38s at the front. Now, I've not ridden a set of 38s before, so really keen to try those out. It's got a DPX2 rear shock at the back, 160 travel up front, 140 out the back. Be interesting to see what that's like. It's got the Shimano EP8 motor, and again, I've not ridden one of those motors yet. I've ridden the Bosch and the Bros and the Yamaha, so it'll be interesting to compare the new Shimano motor. It's a pretty high spec bike. XTR drivetrain, XTR brakes, Fox dropper post. I mean, it's a beast, isn't it? So anyway, let's go out for a ride and we'll have a closer look at it as we go. Okay, so we're finally into it. Got a bit of a hill climb. Mountain biking always starts with a hill climb. Let's just go straight up, shall we? Motor. Yeah, sounds pretty good actually. A little bit of a whine, they all whine. But yeah, no, sounds alright. Be very interesting to see on the way down whether it makes any noise in terms of rattle noise at all. But we'll test that on the way down. Now I have to cut this bike some slack. I normally don't cut slack for expensive bikes, but this is an extra large. It's got a 485 reach, and I'm probably 450 to 460 reach, so it's a bit big for me. So I'll, you know, if it's a little less maneuverable, we got to forgive it that. Now I was told the new Shimano motor was more efficient and gave you a greater range. Unfortunately, I'm not going to really have time to test that today. It's just going to be more about the feel and the handling of the bike. Should we see how good it climbs, eh? Now, so far so good. Now probably some of you will go, Lance, are you riding up and down track? And yeah, probably, but unless you know where I'm riding, you don't really understand. In fact, I am the only one riding. This is not a bike park. Well, that was pretty easy. No worries. Okay, we've been on the bike 5 minutes. Time to hit some jumps, I guess. Okay. Whoa, that's nice. Oh, that felt good actually. It does have the rattle though, eh? It does have the same as the Bosch rattle. I had heard that about the Shimano motor. So it does have that sort of rattly sound. Ooh. Got that a little bit wrong, but I guess it takes a while to get used to it. And if anyone sends me another comment saying it's cable rattle, it's clearly not. But actually saying that, it may be a bit quieter than the Bosch. Alright, so we're back on up the hill for run 2. These are pretty short runs here. This bike, the Shimano motor, has the 3 settings. The Eco, that sucks. Trail, bit better, but boost. And I'll ride and boost the whole day. So I say this video is not going to be about range or how far you could go on Eco. Now I believe you can go on your phone and adjust the settings to your likeness, so but obviously this is just factory settings.
So far, I really like the feel of the power output of the bike. It does feel very natural. I really like it. And pretty quiet too, actually. You know, coming through here, it's a pretty quiet bike on the whole. Oh, hi there, just having a drink. As a matter of interest, there is nowhere on this bike for a water bottle, so you're going to have to carry a camel pack on your back if you want to carry some water on this bike. Now, you're probably thinking, how much, Lance? How much is this bike? And wait for it, it's $5 short of $20,000. Yeah, now stop typing, just wait for a second. Now, I know I've heard them all before. That's insane. Who's dumb enough to spend that much on an e-bike? What a waste of money. It's not worth it. But I'd like to point out one thing. This, my friends, is my watch, right? A cheap plastic watch. It's not even waterproof. In fact, the last time I broke it, I broke the strap. It was cheaper to get a new watch than it was to replace the strap. But some people, right, will spend 20 grand on a watch. They'll spend it on a fancy Rolex. And to me, that seems mad because a cheap plastic one still tells the time. So who's to judge how someone spends their money? And if someone wants to spend 20 grand on a top line e-bike, why not? Now, some decisions are stupid. Like if you're a woman and you buy a Prada handbag for 20 grand, you're certifiably insane and should be locked up. But if you want to spend 20 grand on an e-bike, it is a very high-end e-bike, then it's your decision, right? So maybe hold off on those comments just for a bit. All right, next trail, a bit of tech and a bit of steep climbing to start with. Oh shit. Oh damn. It wasn't the bike's fault. I caught my arm on the damn, ripped a hole in my shirt. Bugger. All right, let's try that again, eh? Let's try that again. Okay, take two. Let's try not to get my shirt tangled up. We are up. Certainly got the power, just a matter of whether you got the skill. Bit techier this track. Now I must thank the guys at Pivot for letting me borrow this thing for the day, so I really appreciate that. Now, one of the things they did mention about this bike, that it had really short chain stays. So I guess we better put that to the test. I'll put the numbers up, and but yeah, apparently for a 29 wheel, got a really short chain stay. Now, admittedly, the bike is too long for me or too large, so I guess some of that's negated a little bit, but should be still pretty cool. The other thing that was really impressed by the guys at Pivot, he spent quite a long time setting the suspension up for me, which was really cool. It makes a big difference, I reckon. This bike's got the XTR brakes and the XTR drivetrain, which is exactly the same that I'm running currently on my bike, and yeah, it must admit, really run really nicely. You still get that argument, do you really want a drivetrain that expensive on it? But yeah, when it's running, it's really nice. And I guess if you're spending 20 grand on a bike, do you really care if it's going to cost you a bit more to replace the cassette and chain? For an extra large, still feels very agile, eh? I'm feeling quite rapidly getting used to it. Bit of a jump. Nice. I believe with this bike, if you wanted to put a 500 watt hour battery, you know, it makes it under 20 kilos, so it could be quite a light, playful little bike. Okay, still heavier than an SL, but you know, it's got all the power, man. Alright, so back up the hill for the third time now. Now one thing I would like to say about this bike is that often when I jump on a bike, I'm forever playing with the cockpit. And this one is really nice and tidy, I must admit. The brakes exactly where I like them. The control, I actually really like this control. It's a nice little ergonomic button here, and it doesn't sort of stick up out the way. And the Fox lever is perfect and is nicely integrated in with the brakes. So yeah, perfect cockpit, I think. Don't need to change anything. Okay, another little hill time climb test. Oh. Oh. Yeah, just kept losing traction. Might have another go, eh? Let's try. Yeah, got it that time. Just about getting that weight down low on that wheel. Okay, so so far this thing's an absolute blast. Really enjoying it. As I say, it's a little bit too big for me, but as I say, it still feels like a really nice bike. What do we think of the colour? Well, I guess it's a personal thing. To be honest, it's not my choice. If I was going to paint a bike a colour, I would never choose this green or this type of green. But some people, I'm sure, will like it. But anyway, it's just a colour. The Shimano motor, really starting to enjoy this. It seems really quiet, especially when you're just sort of cruising along. It's very, very quiet. There's a little bit of noise on the rattly stuff downhill, but to be honest, that's not too bad. And I think that depends a lot of the frame of the bike. Any small noise gets almost like a musical instrument. The frame amplifies that noise, but it's not too bad, to be honest. So yeah, so far I'm liking it. Now, if you guys are enjoying the video and finding it helpful and you haven't subscribed to the channel, I'd love it if you did that. And you may think, well, why bother? And there is a reason. You maybe obviously can get to watch the videos, but for me, the more subscribers the channel has, suddenly people like Pivot say, yeah, sure, why not, Lance? Take our bike out for the day, make a video. And so it enables me to get access to more and more bikes to review. In the early days, I basically had to, hire them or, to get to ride them. Whereas now, manufacturers think, hey, it's probably free advertising, it's worthwhile, let's give the guy a go. So if you haven't subscribed and you'd like to see more videos like this, then hit the subscribe button and then hopefully I can get to make more. Anyway, let's do another run. Alright, let's do a bit of hill testing on it. Now, interestingly enough, this has got 2.5 Maxxis Assegais front and back, and that's exactly, I ran Assegais on my previous bike, although 2.6s. Admittedly, the only thing is I have found on some of these climbs, I'm losing traction a little bit, and I guess that could be having high tyre pressure, I suppose. It is, I don't actually know what pressure's in there, to be honest. But I came up here last week on my bike, which has got 2.8s, and I just rode straight up, no loss of traction. Saying that, it's not doing a bad job getting up here. It's fairly steep and fairly loose. Actually, those short chain stays mean that it's pretty easy to get the front wheel off the ground, actually, which may be affecting the climbing a little bit, and then you've got to get your weight further forward. Okay, let's roll into a bit of seriously steep tech here. No problem at all, eh? Oh, nice! No problem at all, eh? Oh. Ooh, big hole. Must admit, I'd love to get on this bike and the right size for me and spend a few days on it. I'm really, as the time's going on, really starting to love the feel of this thing. Bit of tech. Whoa, don't get it wrong, Lance. One thing that does scare me about this bike is, you know, I'm starting to scare myself, but I had to sign a thing saying that if I broke it, I bought it. And I don't technically have 20 grand to spend on a broken bike. But yeah, after a while you start to forget you're riding someone else's expensive bike and you just start sending everything. But it's a good fun bike. Love the brakes, eh? The XTR brakes are so quiet. They don't squeal at all. They just work really well. Oh, this is a bit gnarly. It's all right. And keep going. Whoa, really steep down here too. Very drifty, sort of sand-based. Whoa, where am I going, Lance?
Well, I really enjoyed that one. Must admit, the main thing I liked about it was that I didn't crash it. I'm not going to have to pay for anything. I did rip my shirt a little bit, but that's about all. I can live with that. What do I like? What do I didn't like about the bike? Well, didn't like, there isn't much of a list, to be honest. Would have liked to have had a bottle cage on it. Would have liked to have had a smaller bike. Not a big fan of the colour, but again, that's a personal thing. I was a little bit unsure about whether a 140 shock was going to be enough, but to be honest, it was relatively small jumps here, but the landings and the handling, it was so plush and really nice. Admittedly, Pivot had spent quite a bit of time setting it up for me, and I think that made a huge difference. The 38s, I love those. They were really nice. In fact, almost tempted to get a set for my own bike. The Shimano motor, I didn't have this bike long enough to really do a big comparison test in terms of range and things like that, but it was quiet, the output was good, it was nice consistent output, and I would gladly have the EP8 motor on any new e-bike that I bought. Would I buy the thing? It's a lot of money, eh? I'd certainly love to own one. As I say, if you've got the money and you want one, it's a pretty awesome bike to have. If you like these sort of videos and you haven't subscribed yet, again, as I said before, I'd love it if you did that. And anyway, we'll see you on the next one.